Hello, hello. Back with another video. Gonna be talking about Light's Embrace versus Divine Embrace today. There's been quite a bit of conversation on my stream about Light's Embrace versus Divine Embrace. I know that's a little bit of a controversial topic for a lot of healers. Healers don't really like to talk about these things. They kind of just like to go with what most people use, right? And uh, so I thought it would be a good idea to finally touch on it and talk about why I think that it is the best to be playing Light's Embrace over Divine Embrace. And I'm going to be speaking about it from a bruiser's point of view mainly, obviously, since I'm a main bruiser. But also, obviously, I've played mage and wars. I've played melee assassin in wars. I've played healer myself for many months. So I'm speaking about it from a general perspective. Um, so I'll just be going into multiple reasons. Basically, there are multiple reasons. And for me, the most important thing is the concept of pre-healing, right? So if you have, I'm gonna put up a VOD here quick. So this is like a very old VOD, so you can see it from June last year. It's like 6 months ago today, actually. Um, so excuse the maybe not perfect gameplay, but this is when I played healer back in the day. But it's basically just about pre-healing because the way I view the game right now, and well, kind of how it's been ever since the graph got changed, you were kind of able to iframe like inside graphs and stuff like that. Um, Especially right after they made the change where you can iframe in showers and iframe in graphs and stuff like that. Stamina became even more important than it used to be, and the real way you die as a good player, like let's say it's my company, let's say 2.0 versus Parabellum for example. The main way you really die is through losing out on stamina and getting caught in clumps and losing out on stamina in clumps and then getting bursted from 100 to 0. Those are like the majority of the deaths. So pre-healing becomes extremely OP, right? Being able to top someone to 100% HP as much as possible to prevent people from getting bursted as much as possible, right? From 100 to 0, or rather from their HP to 0, right? Um, so the best thing you can ever do is basically keep everyone topped as much as possible, right? So that when they do get caught in situations like that, they're at as much HP as possible. Um, and not only that, also just again, we should also talk about the ability to give stamina because that is another thing that I think is so broken about the Light's Embrace. The fact that every single time you heal someone, you give them 25 stamina. And we need to understand that stamina is effective HP as well. It's effective health. Because like we said, we take damage, we get bursted, we do damage, all based on stamina, right? So the ability to consistently give stamina every 3 seconds, right? Obviously, you left click, you get your cooldowns and stuff down. It could be even more than 3 seconds, less than 3 seconds cooldown. So the ability to give stamina consistently is extremely broken, and that counts for health in many different ways, right? There might be scenarios where let's say I have 13k HP, right? And I'm in a grav and I'm getting mega bombed. For me as a bruiser, if I get 25 stamina, sometimes that stamina can mean my whole life or death, and it's hard to value how much HP 25 stamina actually is until you play, especially the bruiser role, as you can probably imagine, right? So stamina is one of the biggest things, one of the biggest arguments for Light's Embrace, definitely. But also, like I said, the consistent healing behind it as well. I'll show you. So obviously, um, you'll see me just basically move around a lot as well and just keep everyone topped as much as possible. And that's the big thing about Light's Embrace. It's that it has a consistent low cooldown, like a 3 second cooldown. We should briefly touch on that too. So most healers they play 5 refreshing, and that means that Divine Embrace is about 5 seconds, and Light's Embrace is about close to 3 seconds. So obviously, Divine Embrace. The good thing about Divine Embrace is if you heal someone below 50% HP, it goes down to 0 pretty much, and you have a new Divine Embrace. But you know, if you play in a scenario like this where you're pre-healing, like in these kind of scenarios, where you're topping everyone as much as possible, right? Where you heal someone, like let's say I get out here, I go out, I start casting a heal, and let's say I heal tank here to full from let's say 95% to 100%. obviously you can never you would never ever do that with Divine Embrace, right? Because you would be putting your Divine Embrace on a 5 second cooldown. That would be extremely troll. But maybe to tank here, like again, we need to also understand that this is delayed. Like this bar is delayed, so he might have taken more damage than what it actually shows. So the fact that you're able to consistently pre-heal someone is extremely overpowered. And we also don't really see what it is I'm giving him, because I'm giving him stamina, I'm giving him movement speed as well. And it's just consistent uptime basically, and it's consistent healing across the board. Keeping him topped up, you see, and now I have less than 3 seconds left on my Let's Embrace again, and that makes me able to move for free without having to actively stand still and left click, and then now heal someone else again, right? So that's the thing we need to consider when it comes to Light's Embrace versus Divine Embrace. It's just a little bit more consistent. And as well, also just when you're playing, right, we need to talk a little bit about survivability and how the game has kind of shifted over to it's a little bit more difficult for healers, right, nowadays than it used to be. So that means that you're not really allowed to just sit still and sit and play like this. You can't just be an NPC that just sits and left clicks, right? You need to constantly move. So that means that every time you heal, you need to actively move a lot, and so you're not able to actively left click, stand still and left click as much. So if you're healing, you need to be fully able to move freely. And I can tell you that when you do this, let's say you're moving, it just feels way better than, let's say I use Divine Embrace. Boom. Now let's say I'm not able to left click, I'm moving. Now I can heal. It's like, I don't know, it just feels extremely awkward. The other thing about this as well is it's also about keeping yourself alive. So it's also like a survivability tool. Let's say I take away some of my own health here. The movement speed and the stamina it gives. So let's show the stamina first. So let's say someone's on me. I iframe, self-heal, iframe again. So I'm at 4 stamina, you see. But obviously, like if you're doing that with Divine Embrace, like that's not really a thing, right? See, now I'm out of stamina. So that matters a lot. We also need to talk about the movement speed that you get. So let's say I'm being chased. Boom, this guy's chasing me. Now, phew, I'm running away. Nice. So this is relevant as well. And it's not only that, again, like let's say someone's on me, I self-heal, but let's say I use Divine Embrace. It's on 5 seconds cooldown now, right? Because I didn't heal myself when I was top 50% HP. And cool, I might be out of danger, but now I have 5 seconds cooldown on my heal, and my bruiser needs heal. So that really, really sucks. And so it's really, really important to understand that you want to, as a healer, it's not about these cool moments of, where you're playing Divine Embrace, these cool moments where, oh, I'm healing this guy, and boom, now my Divine Embrace refreshed to 0, and I can keep healing her and keep healing her. It's not about those, let's say, a couple of moments in a war where that happens. For me, that's not the healer role. The healer role for me is about a consistency across 30 minutes, consistent healing across 30 minutes, and then also just effective healing. And effective healing for me is the things I just mentioned about making sure that you're alive, making sure that you're able to heal the entire group as much as possible, keeping your bruises topped as much as possible, in advance as much as possible, giving them stamina. And these are just things that can't really be compared. And I can tell you that as playing as a bruiser, it's very rare that I go sub 50% HP and I get Divine Embraced and I'm gonna need another Divine Embrace. That just doesn't really happen. But one thing that does happen a lot is me getting bursted based on the stamina that I have. And I have a couple of examples in this VOD. It's a little bit difficult to find good examples because a lot of times when I take really big damage, I'm obviously standing on Oblivion, and just for the sake of the argument, I don't want to show examples of when I'm inside an Oblivion. But I'll show you how important it is to get the stamina, especially from the Light's Embrace. So obviously in the moment, I'm playing on the outskirts of the point, right? I get aggro from a Greatsword Assassin, potentially some bows too. The guy starts hitting me, I'm still in aggro, and I'm about to get Light's Embrace there, and you'll see my stamina, and the difference between my stamina and being able to iframe because of that Light's Embrace. So you'll see iframe here, right? So I'm at this, but then it ticks up because of the Light's Embrace heal I just got. And that means I'm able to iframe again. So I'm at 14 stamina. But if I didn't get those 25 stamina, I'd be in grey bar right now. Right? I'd be on 0 and be unable to be iframe. And that's one example, right? I'm being topped, I'm being given stamina, I'm being given 30% movement speed, which we haven't really touched on too much, and why that's also important for bruisers and mages alike. Um, there's another example too. Let's see if we can find a good example there. I need to move. Sorry about there we go. So I think there's another moment here. So obviously, as a bruiser, you kind of rely on stamina to be able to do damage, right? And this is the thing. So look, so I iframe out a little bit. Iframe. Now I'm at 10 stamina. I get healed, and I get movement speed, and I get stamina back. And that means that now I'm much quicker back in the fight to be able to iframe again and left click. And see again, if I didn't receive those 25 stamina, I'd have gone out of stamina. And and some people might be like, oh, this is a little bit cope and a skill issue, and like, maybe you just shouldn't even have iframe. But the thing is, the better you become at playing with this shit in mind, like my brain kind of just processes my stamina bar without having to look too much actively. And the moment I see my stamina tick up, or like my brain kind of processes that my stamina is around this, that my brain tells me I'm allowed to iframe. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Good players really take advantage of any kind of small advantages, any kind of stamina that you're given, any type of movement speed you're given, and everything like that. And just to touch on the movement speed, just as a last thing, the movement speed, why it's so important, obviously, with the change of being able to iframe in showers and graphs like that as well. Your iframes are also affected by slows. But the thing is, movement speed counteracts slows. So movement speed in general is just really good for that and making iframes a little bit more effective. But also just in general for your uptime too. I'm not sure if anyone's ever played mage, for example, in scenarios where, let's say, you get let's say you've just gone and used all your spells in the top left point. You exit the clump. Now you get Light's Embrace healed, and you just start zooming over and get into a better position faster. It essentially just allows you to get into a position better, faster rather. And obviously I come from a little bit of a League of Legends background, but I can tell you that in other games, like League of Legends for example, movement speed is extremely busted for a reason. Because movement speed to me is damage. Movement speed to me is health. Movement speed to me is uh, being in more effective position to get more value with your body presence. So it's more than just the obvious zoom in. So for me, there are so many arguments for Light's Embrace and why Light's Embrace is better. But again, like I said, the biggest one is by far the fact that it gives stamina and the fact that it's a consistent heal where you are encouraged to pre-heal someone as much as possible. Let's say at 90% HP, 80% HP, even 95% HP, because again you're giving so much more than just health. Yeah. Um, I think that's it. If I'm missing anything, I will throw it in the description below. And otherwise as well, this can kind of just be like a reference video. Maybe I missaid some things, whatever. Come to my stream. I stream every day. Come to my Twitch stream and ask away. Ask me questions more into this topic. Obviously, I didn't touch too much on Divine Embrace and why it's good, and obviously it does have its strengths outside of maybe some of the things I talked about. But definitely hop into my stream, into my chat, ask me more in-depth questions about this conversation. But like I said, big Lights Embrace fan, and I can tell you as a bruiser, I do not enjoy having a Divine Embracer healer. Um, yeah, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.